Is Will Smith finally realizing that he's Will f***ing Smith? Because this clip of him just came out dancing his heart out in Angola with a mystery woman in what looks like his happiest moments away from his miserable marriage. It's incredible to me because this latest trip in Angola is finally looking like Will Smith is trying to shed a massive burden and just laugh and live life again. And Twitter has been having a field day with it, writing stuff like, his wife won't be happy about this. This was Will's only chance to dance with a woman with hair on her head. Imagine all that fame and wealth, and it's one ugly, bald woman ruining your life. Bro should get a mansion in Angola and retire there as soon as possible. He's off the shackles. See the happiness in his face. Being a simp doesn't make you a man. The thing is, Jada Smith has no leverage over him. She divorces him today, and the very next day he will find a willing woman even at this age. And all of that is actually true. The only difference is, Will hadn't been man enough to make his wife realize it. At least, not before being dragged through a whole decade of humiliation with a very public fallout of his marriage. And that's exactly the wound that Chris Rock decided to put salt on when he roasted Will Smith on Netflix after the Oscars slap.
Because everybody knows what the happened. Everybody that really knows I had nothing to do with that shit. I didn't have any entanglements. I did not have any entanglement. And then for people that don't know, what everybody knows, his wife was her son's friend, okay? Now, I normally would not talk about this but for some reason, these put that on the internet.
Because, by the way, Jada actually came out just this week confirming that they're still basically separated. And it'll make your head spin hearing the same excuse she gives of, quote-unquote, finding herself.
So are y'all living together?
It's just this beautiful connection. We will.
Mm-hmm. Look at that.
Not right now.
But you will.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why do you say that with such
clarity?
Because that's what it's going to be.
That's where it's headed.
Yeah.
And you both are on that page.
Yeah. And but right now I really do enjoy my space.
Yeah.
I've been living
alone.
I am my mother's only child.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so having this time that I've had to myself has been fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just to get to know me, even to have my house exactly how I want it.
Yeah.
I don't have to be like, well, what color do you want this wall? You know what I mean? I can just do it.
You're the chooser.
I'm the chooser.
You're the chooser.
Right.
So when you imagine your life back together, because I'm sure you've seen it, how does that look to you?
We don't know yet.
You'll build that.
We'll build that, and it'll be something new.
So she left the man that forgave her infidelity at the cost of his reputation just so she could choose the color of the wall? Does she even hear herself at this point? And what irks me most is this nonchalant dismissal of Will Smith as a man, especially with his stature in Hollywood. Because remember, Will was at the absolute pinnacle of the Hollywood peak when he married Jada back in the 90s. And a lot of the reason that Jada was able to catapult herself into the industry's inner circle is because of the power and respect her husband held in Hollywood. But here's the sad part. Will Smith never knew that he'd always be living under the constant shadow of the one man that Jada could never get over, and that's Tupac.
A lot of people, talk about my relationship with Pac and trying to figure that out, and that was a huge loss in my life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because he was one of those people that I expected to be here. And my upset is more anger. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel that he left me. And I know that's not true. And it's a very selfish way to think about it, but I really did believe that he was going to be here for the long run.
Sorry. He was, it was beyond friendship for us, as far as just, it's really difficult to explain because the type of relationship we had, You only get that once in a lifetime.
Imagine being in this much pain over a man you wished was still here 30 years after his death, but not even emotionally flinching at leaving the man that picked you back up and gave you the limelight for those 30 years. If you think about it, Tupac's ghost has haunted their entire marriage for decades, and that's something that even Will Smith himself has admitted to when he opened up about it on The Breakfast Club.
Were you ever jealous of the love Jada had for Tupac?
Yeah. Oh my God, that dude! And you know, and that was in the early days. That was a big regret for me too, because I could never open up to interact with Pac, because we had a little bit of a thing, right? Because you know they grew up together, they loved each other, but they never had that. You know, they never had a sexual relationship, but they had come into that age where now that was a possibility, and then Jada was with me. You know, Pac had a little thing on that, but she just loved him like he was the image of perfection, but she was with the Fresh Prince. I never could, like, even we were in a room together a couple times, I couldn't speak to him, you know, and, you know, he wasn't going to speak to me if I wasn't going to speak to him.
Really?
But,
It seemed like y'all would have so much in common.
No, that's what Jada would say all the time. She was like, I'm telling you, y'all are so similar. You will love him. And I just never, you know, that was a huge regret of mine. I just didn't, I couldn't handle it, you know. I was the soft rapper from Philly, and he was Pac.
Right.
You
well,
know
at least
what
he didn't
I mean?
do a diss song about you or nothing.
I know, right?
Awful.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I was deeply insecure, and just I wasn't man enough to handle that relationship.
Now listen, I'm sure you can poke 1,000 holes in their relationship, but there's still one ace that Will Smith had up his sleeve that he never used, and that's the fact that he was a beloved generational movie star that basically had women throwing themselves at him. If you understand the kind of options he had, you realize that he absolutely did not have to go through a public humiliation cycle multiple times for Jada, who never really loved or respected him. I mean, just tell me if you read it any differently with just how casual and nonchalant she is here, talking about divorcing Will Smith and still making it all about herself and her feelings.
Everybody's always like, why don't you just get divorced? And it's like, that's like quitting. I don't think there's any person that could embrace the best and the worst of me and be willing to hold space in the way that Will holds space for me, in the way that I hold space for him. There's no greater mirror I could have than Will. I can't get around myself, just like he can't get around himself with me. Sure, we talk about this all the time. Would it be easier to go and find somebody else and have a more pleasing, more comfortable relationship? Maybe. But would that get me to the person that I really want to be? I don't think so.
And she's saying this, of course, after having made a mockery of her marriage by cheating on her husband with her son's best friend. That's why I say, to be respected among men, you need to be able to say no. But to be respected by a woman, you need to be able to walk away from her. And she needs to know that in the back of her mind. That's the ultimate leverage that Will Smith never used, despite being dragged through the mud by his wife for almost a decade. But Will confessed to something much darker in his biography that no one else seems to be talking about. So watch here why these revelations blew Shane Gillis's mind, and subscribe to Elites Exposed for more.